Welcome back to another episode of The Basement. I'm your host, Wyatt. Well, there were multiple headlines this week about a thunderstorm with the power of a hurricane that capsized a ship. Now, I'm no genius, but if you told me you were riding your bike and you ran over a rock as sharp as a knife and it broke your tire and now you have a flat, I wouldn't be that surprised. You know what I mean? And something else happened this week. A dump truck driver received a DUI for drunk driving. And normally this wouldn't be a laughing matter, but can you imagine how drunk you have to be for someone to notice that you're driving drunk even though you're stopping like every 30 seconds just to pick up trash? There was some good news this week though. In France, they just made it illegal to have sex with children under 15 years old, which I'm sure made you all think, what is going on in France? Under 15, and that was just passed? That's insane. There was something else going on in France too. They were having one crazy week. They cut 2 nuclear-powered submarines in half to make a new one, which sounds a lot like any 6th grade math problem. There was another interesting headline this week that read, Hershey has a strange idea about where you should put your Reeses. Who wrote that? That was on CNN. Who wrote that headline and was like, this is a great thing to put on the internet? I'm sure no one's going to think what I'm thinking Hershey is trying to say in this situation. And this week, across America, kids participated in Mulch Madness, which sounds a lot like a cover-up for child labor. Like, I'm sure the people were just like, you like March Madness, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. This is completely different than that, but I'm sure you're going to have even way more fun for free. Our movie review for this week is our final Oscar nominee, The Father. This movie is about a pretty grumpy old man who's very confusing to talk to, but that's mostly just because he's British and calls things by like crazy names, like he calls pants trousers. Very weird. This movie also made it official that if you want to be nominated for an Oscar, your movie has to have at least one character walking down a street looking very concerned and like briskly walking somewhere. It's very important that you have that. Overall, this movie was very confusing to watch, and it'll take you a bit to like formulate your own idea of what's happening, but don't worry because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like that. I mean, if you start this movie and you completely understand what's going on from the get-go, you need help. Like, there's probably some issues going on. You could start the movie and then you could walk away from the TV for about 15 minutes. And there's a chance that when you come back, they'll still be on the same scene, but a bunch of other stuff happened in between. And then they come back to the scene from before. It doesn't make any sense. And right when you think you know what's going on, they spin the whole thing upside down and you have no idea what's going on again. The one big thing, though, that does stand out about this movie is that the grumpy old man drinks an entire cup of tea like this. Just the entire thing. And he doesn't spill a single drop of it on himself. It's amazing. And there is one very educational aspect about this movie. If you didn't know that in Paris they don't speak English, you'll know that by the end of this movie. They say it about every 15 minutes, constantly. This episode of The Basement was brought to you by bagels. Do you want to eat something that feels like a lot when you're eating it, but then half an hour later it feels like you haven't eaten anything in hours? Well, you'll love bagels. They even take time to prepare. I mean, you gotta toast the bagel, you gotta wait for it to toast, and that takes about like 5 minutes, and then you gotta wait for it to cool down before you can spread whatever you want to put on it. And after that whole process is done, you eat it in like 2 minutes, and you're still hungry. If that sounds like something you might enjoy, try bagels. Thanks for watching another episode of The Basement. I'm your host, Wyatt. And don't forget to let me know what movies you want me to review next. I'll see you next time.